All right. It looks like we are live. Welcome, everybody, to another day of Chitty Chat. Although we are not on the right channel, of course, because we got booted from YouTube yesterday. And surprisingly, after they gave me the boot on YouTube, took 2 days worth of super chats, and then I complained, I got a strike for another video that I posted 2 years ago. So now I'm setting at 2 strikes again. But they're trying to get me to quit. I ain't gonna quit. They gotta get rid of me. I'm stubborn. I don't know how we're gonna do the chat today because we don't got super chat, so I can't share things or anything like that. I don't know what we're gonna do. We'll think about it. I guess we might try to do it through PayPal. I just won't be able to share them, and I won't be able to show anything because I would be doxing people because it has information on there that I shouldn't be showing. So I guess what we will do is today's topic, by the way, is someone already chimed in over here. What did they say? Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. That's actually responding to today's topic. So that's good. So if you want to respond to today's topic, you're going to have to use the link at the top of the page. I'm not going to be able to share it. Which kind of ruins how we do the chat. Because I like people being able to see who said it and what. I'll make sure to say your name plainly when I read your chat. But weigh in via the PayPal super chat. The link up here at the top. Do you think we're ever going to be able to overcome 2A censorship on social media? Feel free to share any experiences with it you've had. What you think we need to do. Will we ever be able to overcome it, or will it eventually be our downfall? Because, you know, how goes social media goes the world pretty much. So let me know via the PayPal super chat. And I'll try to share. I'll try to get to it. That's if you, I don't know. Do we need to even bother with that? I guess so. We'll see if anybody does it. If anybody does it in the next 10 minutes, we'll do that. I don't know what we're doing. This is a pain in the ass. They make it to where you can't make any money for pets and vets at all. And then they steal what you do make. So it ain't no way I'm going to get this channel eligible for super chats. I've only got, I'd have to upload 2 more videos, and then I would either have to get 3 million people to watch shorts, which nobody watches my shorts. Well, not these days. And I would have to get 3,000 hours of view over the last 365 days. I've had 194. So, so there's that. And that's just from last night's chat. That's the only place we've gotten views and mostly. But like I said, if you want to try to weigh in on the topic, go over to the PayPal super chat. We'll see if it works. We'll do our best to do it that way. Let me know. We will try. I've got that song stuck in my head today, and I don't know why. I don't remember hearing it anywhere. Who sings that damn song? It's a band. It's Mungo something or something like that. You know, in the summertime when the weather is hot, you can stretch right up, and the weather is high. You can stretch right up, and the temperatures. I think it's when in the summertime when the temperature's high, you can stretch right up and reach the sky. When the weather's fine, you got women on your mind. That's how it goes in the Mungo Jerry. That's it. In the summertime, when the temperature's high, you can stretch right up and reach the sky. When the weather's fine, you got women on your mind. That's it. And I've got it stuck in my head. And I don't know why. I don't remember hearing it anytime recently. Must have somewhere. Maybe like in a waiting room or something. Heard it like the elevator version or something. Because I had to go to the pharmacy today and all this other stuff. So. But the topic today is, do you think we'll ever overcome the 2A bias on social media? Is there anything we can do? Feel free to share any examples of it you've seen, people being censored because of their 2A opinions. You all saw what I did that YouTube has a problem with, what they're trying to get rid of my channel on. Doing that to a gun that was falling off the rack. And I had to search the video to find out what it was they had a problem with. Wouldn't have even been able to do that if I hadn't had a StreamYard version of the video still available to me, because they deleted the video. And then they say, if you disagree, go use the video basically to show us we're wrong, but you can't see the video. So you can't actually do that. Right now, we only got 34 people here. And only one person has weighed in over on PayPal. No, now it's 2 people. 2 people now. But let me know. Share an example of 2A censorship you've experienced on YouTube or seen on the internet. And let me know, do you think we're ever going to overcome it, or is it going to be our downfall? Since we're losing to censorship on the internet, and most people don't care because pro-gun is becoming a fringe element of the population, do we have a chance? Weigh in if you can via the link up at the top of the page, the PayPal super chat. I can't share them. I wonder if there's a way I can get to where I can easily find the people who just say my name over here, because I have a hard time finding that because I can barely see it. That's why I like it where I can go to a list where every comment is one for because my eyes ain't so good, and I can only see out of one half the time. So I do the best I can with what I got. Having to search for them really screws up the flow of the chat. Do Don't know where I got that song in my head from. Mungo Jerry. I don't remember what the name of the song is. It In the Summertime? Is that what it, or is it just Summertime? In the summertime, when the temperature's high, you can stretch right up and touch the sky. When the temperature's high, you got women on your mind. I don't remember much of the song. I remember if her daddy's rich, you could take her for a meal. If her daddy's poor, you could do what you feel, which I don't know if that's really a very PC. I don't know if that song would hold muster nowadays, if you know what I mean. Yeah. Hell, I can't even share the comments. It's not even letting me share them on the page. Is that something? I guess you got to have a special privilege to do that too. I can't even share the comments. So even if I could see them, I don't think I could do that. I don't know. I haven't checked emails today. You might want to watch this about YouTube ripping creators screwing up votes. What? What is this? Oh, you put this up. What is it? Yeah, it's not changing the number. Yeah, they've been doing that. That's not a surprise. They don't count my views either. It's like the video I put up about that. It took off really well. I mean, it got 1,500 views in the first half hour, and then nothing. According to it, no one's watched it since the half hour mark. And it's getting comments and likes, but no watches. no views. They just think you don't notice that stuff. I don't know, but that's another reason. I was reading Edgar Cortez email. That's another reason I'm hating YouTube right now, because they make me have to defend Hickok 45. Motherfuckers. Oh, I wonder if I can invite people in here, if we can even do the we'll try to do the no FUD zone tonight. So anybody who wants to be in the no FUD zone, I'm going to put an email in here. It's shooting left of center at gmail.com if you want to be on the no FUD zone chat. They just copy and paste that email there. Welper put it in also. Contact me if you want to be part of the no FUD zone. Oh, apparently I just missed a phone call from Trump. I miss a phone call from him almost every other day. He said, I just tried to call you. He probably, wants to borrow money. He always wanting to borrow money and never pays back. Yeah, you don't get your icons over here because this channel don't have any of those privileges. This channel's got no privileges. It's got no class. That's why we got to do things. I can't share comments from people in the chat. I can't do super chats. I can't do any of the high-end stuff. So, because this is a lowly little channel that doesn't make YouTube enough money. Let's see if anybody's weighed in yet over here on the transactions over here for. Remember, if you're sending in any YouTube any super chats on PayPal right now, make sure they are topic specific, so that I know I'm reading stuff about the topic today. So if you've got any examples of YouTube censorship of 2A rights, if you've got any idea on what we need to do to overcome this, do you think we will overcome it? Do you think it'll be the death of partly responsible for the death of the gun community? Because it seems like, we had a huge chance to reach out to people with the internet, and instead we just basically told everyone what kind of people we don't like and that we don't want in the gun community. And that did not go well. Unfortunately, the online gun community and the people who sponsor it latched onto every negative thing you could latch onto because it's profitable. Good news doesn't sell. Bad news sells like crazy. So they sacrificed progress for profit, and it's catching up to us. Plus, what info do you need for the stock? I just need your FFL information and your name, phone number, and email. I thought you already emailed it to me because I'm supposed to. Oh shit! I was supposed to email him that back yesterday, and I didn't do it. I'll email him. Well, they aren't open again until Tuesday, so it'll get emailed to him. He'll have it on Tuesday. But it's there. It's ready to ship. They've already boxed it up. They're just waiting for the info. I went in the other day, put the stocks on it. That's where I started feeling really sick. Did we have any sales today? Did we at least have that? We got one sale. We sold a Maganet. We sold a magnet. Apparently, Trump says here he's working to keep Republican or Democrats' hands off Social Security. Well, that's funny since it seems like his bill's the one doing the damage to it right now. That's not good. I don't think I'll ever see Social Security. For one, I'll probably be dead before I can ever retire. But I don't think it'll be around forever. All the people counting on it, I think, are going to be screwed. They've screwed the pooch. Oops, somebody bought some stuff. What did they buy? Someone bought a bunch of magnets, it looks like. Are these all magnets? Someone bought like a half dozen magnets or something over here. Let's see, are they already on? I think they're already in the Church of Phil, aren't they? Yeah, they're already in the Church of Phil, so I don't need to add them to the list. But they bought them a bunch of magnets. See, you buy a bunch, that's not so bad. The shipping is not bad. The shipping was like a fifth of their order. When you buy one magnet, it's 50% of your order is shipping. We'll get started here in just a minute. If you want to weigh in via the link at the top of the page over there. We'll see. I don't know how I got that stuck in my head. That's not even a song I generally think of. So I don't know why it's stuck in my head. I don't remember hearing it. I mean, I know I've heard it 1,000 times in my life, but I don't know what you're asking me if I've considered, because you put it in the subject line. Getting your own app. Well, I wouldn't know what that entails or what that even means. Plus, you'd have to get people to sign up to your app to make it work. And I don't know how to do that. Funny, very funny meme. Frank Rodriguez thinks he's a comedian. Just so people know. Can you go touch that future on pistol? The pistol on the wall. Not again. I'm not falling for that one again. Goddamn. I think that fly was sent by the government to fuck with me. It was actually probably just a little robot camera. And he landed on a gun, so I'd swat around over there. And I thought I had hit that gun or something, because I noticed it kind of sliding forward in the thing. So I was like, ooh. And all I did was just push it back up. Didn't want it falling out. I was trying to be safe. So much for being responsible. And so much for trying not to kill an animal. An animule. Well, insect. Speaking of which, we have a dead deer in the yard. I noticed her last night. I tried to give her water. She didn't take it. I think she might have been there for a couple of days. I wish I'd have gotten the water to her quicker, but I didn't. I gave it to her last night. She drank a little. She gave it to her yesterday. She drank a little bit of it, but she didn't really want it. She hadn't been eating, and she looks like she's kind of old. And today she passed away. So now I got a dead deer in my yard. I'm like, why'd you have to die in my yard? Why do you gotta do that? That's not nice. I mean, I hate to see you die, and I don't. Now I got to dispose of the body. I called the wildlife number, I emailed them on the line, but I doubt they'll do anything about it. I don't think I even got a response from them. Probably won't till Monday at least. I'm looking over here to see if I got any responses. from the, unless Donald Trump was trying to call me about it. I don't think he was. All right, we're going to get started here. We're going to try to do this. We'll see what happens. I might end up having to take a vacation for. I don't know how long my suspension is for. It's indefinite, so it could be a very long time. All right, let's get started. Hey, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Shooting the Shit with Yankee. As always, I'm Yankee, so let's start shooting. Although it's not going to be as easy today because I'm having to work on a secondary account because YouTube pulled my ability to do live chats on my other channel because of my irresponsible and unsafe behavior. If you're confused of what I did, going over to my regular channel, there's a video up there where you can see what I did, and I think you'll understand why I have been punished. But as I said, I am being punished. So today's topic is going to be, do you think that we as a gun community, the online gun community especially, do you think we're ever going to be able to overcome the 2A bias or censorship in social media? Or do you think that ship has sailed? You know, we had a chance to come on here and be a community and be a community of outreach and positive information and etc., and try to grow our tent as much as possible. But instead, we decided to come on and tell everybody who we hate and what things make us angry and who we should be angry at. And that's pretty much what it evolved into. And now most people don't care that social media discriminates against us because becoming a pro-gun person, being a pro-gun person is becoming a fringe element in this country. And unfortunately, that's what's more profitable right now, short term, for the companies and the people who deal in social media. So that's what they prefer. So I don't know if we've missed our chance or what. I want to know what you all think. What are some gross examples of 2A censorship you've seen? And do you think that we are ever going to be able to do anything? Is there something we should be doing? Should we be taking legal action? Should we be trying to grow our tent, change our attitudes, etc.? You know, what do you think? And I've started off already here saying, you know, I think maybe we missed the boat and we decided to go the wrong way on the internet because it was profitable for certain people. And I think it has done so much damage that we're in a situation where we may never win. And as far as filing lawsuits, etc., unfortunately, social media is owned by the top 1% of the 1%. And they have bought enough protections from the government that you basically can't sue them. I mean, YouTube engages in stealing people's money all the time. And there's nothing you can do about it. I spoke to 2 attorney generals. Both of them said, oh, yeah, YouTube, yeah, you're not going to be able to do anything. What they're doing is illegal, highly illegal, but they're protected because they've bought enough politicians. So we'd be wasting our time. So I think it might be too late. I don't think we can do much through lawsuits, period. Even if we had a class action suit, I don't think much would happen. So I don't know if there's anything we can do. And I think, unfortunately, if we don't do something on social media to become a more positive organization, to become a more positive face, to become a more welcoming group, I think it will be too late for us, and social media will be our downfall. It will at least be one of the straws that breaks the camel's back if we do not start having a more positive face on here to where we're not being super. Because right now, if you're not being divisive, if you're not preaching anger and you're not preaching hate, they don't want you on here. They want you they want you to divide the people. That's what they want. And if you're not doing that, if you're calling for, hey, we in the gun community need to be a more inclusive group. We need to stop discriminating against everyone because you don't like something else about their politics, or you don't like something else about their nationality or their religion or the color of their skin. Leave that outside the tent when you come in. We need less bouncers and more doormen for this tent, for this community. And like I said, I don't know if that's going to happen, so it might be too late. But let's go over here and see what I got other people saying. I can't do it through the super chats now, so I can't see them easily and share them. So I'm going to try to do it from PayPal, but I'm just going to have to read them. Aaron Talley, I bet he got called Tallywhacker a lot when he was young. Eric Talley says, we can do it through lawfare like Scientology did to the IRS in the 90s. They launched 1,000 lawsuits against individual IRS employees until the agency caved. We could do the same to YouTube. I don't know if you can, because name me an employee. They're all faceless machines. And even when you talk to them, they make a point every time to say there's no human intervention in the algorithm, to where there's no person that's responsible for anything it does. That's part of their protections and part of the way they protect themselves. So I don't think that would work. I wish it would, but I don't think it would. And then get people that to go for it, because most of the people who are on YouTube for gun channels, they love the division and they love the fear mongering because it makes them a lot of money. Sean Bain chimed in and said, it ducks, Yankee. Nothing we can do. They are all private businesses. Only thing we can do is members only on Patreon or subs. Ribdiat. I don't know what that last part was, but well, they are private businesses, but here's the thing. They don't have the same leeway as private businesses do, because they have special agreements. There are laws that are written that says if you own a social media company, you cannot censor content and be free from liability, because if you censor content, well, then you're a publisher and you are liable for what you publish. If you don't censor content, you're not a publisher and you're not liable. So right now they're censoring content and they're still being treated like they're not a publisher. The law specifically says you can't be both, but unfortunately they get to be both because money talks. So we need to start making sure that law is enforced. And the only way we're going to do that is get rid of every politician that's sitting right now and vet the ones we elect a little better and make sure that they're not sold out to the people, to the 1%. Johnny Mandrick chimed in and said, it can be done. We need to pressure Congress and state officials to do something. It's going to take a lot of effort and teaming up with the other groups that are being cheated and censored by YouTube. Well, starting at the government would be one of the best ways to do it. But I think we're just got to get rid of everybody, because everybody there's now is bought off. They've been bought, just like how Silencer Shop bought politicians about the HBA. It's like, okay, we're okay if you get rid of the tax stamp, but you can't take it off the NFA. And even though they acted like they were, first acted like they were going to, but then they acquiesced and said, yeah, we won't take it off the NFA. But then people found out that they were bought off by a big business. So then they went, oh, well, we don't sell out. We'll put it back in there. But they put it back in a way they knew was going to get taken back out. And they put it back in without taking it off the NFA. So money talks. They don't ever betray the money. They might pretend to be betraying the money to make people happy, but they still follow the money. So we need to get rid of all of them. It's not going to happen, but we need to. That was Johnny Mandrick. And John Heasley said, Lee, no, they are never going to stop messing with channels that are just about the 2A. I'm trying to win the stock. I can see you trying to win the stock. Chrissy Jones chimed in and said, yes, we can. We need to show that this is a hobby that can be fun, safe, and rewarding. That's the narrative that will break the ice on social media. If furries can do it, so can we. Yeah, but they're not attacking the furries. And the 1% that owns the media doesn't have an interest in making sure furries never propagate. In fact, they are fine with furries because it pisses off certain people. So they're happy to have that there. They'll show it just to make people mad. It's like how they blow the whole trans rights things into a big thing, like, oh, everybody wants to be trans. It's less than 1%. It's like a half of 1% that you're dealing with, and they act like this is something affecting the majority of Americans when it just doesn't affect most of us. And if people weren't making big political hay out of it, who would care if a tranny used a public bathroom? I don't think they usually do. I think they go out of their way to avoid using public bathrooms. I know I do, and I got all the right junk. Not good junk, but it's the right junk. And I have no issue with going to a public restroom. I still ain't going to do it. So I don't think most trannies are even wanting to use public restrooms. And I think in schools, if they didn't make a big political issue out of it, they would make an allowance for a kid and do what they could do. So it's just something that's been made political hay out of. So yeah, I think that they've got a real, just like how they love that because it divides people. They love the furries because it divides people. The 2A, they don't want us bringing people together on 2A. Ryan McFarland chimed in and said, no, it will never change unless someone else buys YouTube. To get more 2A people, make friends with people and with different views and invite them shooting. Yeah, I wish that would happen. I wish they would break YouTube up like they broke up Ma Bell. They should break YouTube up. It needs to be broken up. That's an order there. I just clicked on. Eric Griffin bought some stuff. Clinton Barella, and you can stand under his Barella. I feel like the First Amendment won't get a fair shake by the media. Bad news and bad people will always be first page. Well, that's true. Bad news sells. And the First Amendment, as far as us being able to express our opinions, they're more than happy. You know, Biden administration, Trump administration, all of them are anti-media. They pretend like Trump was the only one that's anti-media. He's just more open about it. Biden does the same thing, did the same thing, pressured people into printing some things and not printing others. Obama did the same thing through their surrogates. You know, just they want them to censor certain things and allow certain things. And unfortunately, both sides want 2A censored, unless it's the angry, divisive, you know, fear-mongering stuff. Who was that? That was Ryan McFarland. Then we got it. Nope, that's an order. I saw that. No, that was Clinton Barella. Now we got Jay Lugo weighing in here. Debbie J says, nice shirt. How much ass did you get today? Calls that shirt. None. I just went to the only place I went is to the pharmacy, and then I stopped at the car lot on the way home. But just to try to make myself feel better. But not buying nothing right now. Unless we trade in the, we'll talk about that after this chat. Give us something to talk about car-wise. But no tail today. Jay Lugo also weighed in and said, had to check I was unsubscribed on both channels, had to resub, and the little button kept saying to subscribe all notifications. Does tan grips go well with a 642? Saw the grips for $15. Tan grips. I don't know what you mean by tan, but tan goes with anything. Tan's like, you know, like a little black purse or something, like a little pair of red shoes. It goes with pretty much everything. Just make sure the grips match your purse and your shoes. Otherwise, you know, should be fine. That looks like that's it for people weighing in on today's topic. I want to thank everybody who went to the extra effort to go over to the PayPal link and participate so that I could actually see it and share it. Can't share or see these ones very well. I can see them somewhat, but I got to start wearing my glasses. I don't think I'm going to, but I need to. Especially since I lost my vision in my left eye for a while there. I think I probably need to start using my glasses. I don't know why. Someone just commented on Patreon. What did he say? Paul Rawlerson says, well, you pegged that. Well, I didn't peg nobody. I don't know who said it was me. It wasn't me. I ain't done that in a long time. I ain't been pegged by nobody. So we just have to figure out how to become heroes instead of feared. Well, that's true. Unfortunately, most of the people that the gun community online see as heroes are actually villains who are raping them for their own profit and destroying their chances of securing their own rights back for profit. Like I said, they're sacrificing progress for profit, and they think they're heroes when really they're the problem. But thanks everybody for coming. Thanks everybody for participating. We'll be doing the no FUD zone chat here in a few minutes, so stick around for that. But we're done with this for today. So I would say weigh in out there in YouTube land, but most of you ain't going to. Well, actually, some of you will see us on YouTube because I'll repost it as a video on YouTube. So what do you think? Put it in the comment section below. Do you think we got a chance? Do you think things are over? You're just waiting for the fat lady to sing? Let me know in the comment section below. And if you want to come to one of these live chats in person, we do them every night at 6 p.m. Check my Patreon, my Facebook, etc. if you want to know when they're going to be and where they're at while we're a little bit put out here. But otherwise, like I said, thanks everybody for coming. Hope to see y'all again tomorrow. Until then, remember, always carry and stay safe until I see you again. All right, we're going to do the no FUD zone here in a few minutes. Let me get a link. I think I can share it. I hope it'll work. It's not letting me do a lot of things right now. Okay, let's send this out. Boop. Boop. And you might have something to talk about too. All right, I sent out the links. Once everybody gets in here, we'll get going. Until then, I went down today and looked at automobiles because I'm thinking about trading in the, we got that electric Mach-E GT. And when we bought it, we had a need for a car that could be driven every day for a driving job. But now that driving job ain't existing anymore. We all work from home. So the car just sits 6 days, sometimes 7 days a week. And that's not great for an electric car to just sit and not be used. But other than that, even it's a $62,000 car, $65,000 car. Why are we having it sitting in our driving way just all the time? I think it'd be more practical to have a little like a Ford Maverick Lobo. I saw one of the Ford Maverick Lobos today, and it looks nice. So I'm trying to think about maybe starting a campaign here at home to convince to trade in. Now, I will miss the power and the speed of the electric car, but that little Lobo would be so practical. It just would. I mean, it's not super powerful. I think they only got like 180 horsepower or something, but nice little bed, usable bed for a gardener, that kind of thing. So is there a difference between male and female when you say gardener? I don't think so. I think it's just gardener. Oh, yeah, I am. Oh, he wants the link too. I'll send it over. Boom. He promises not to send any more bad memes. Okay. Once everybody gets here, we'll get started. So what do you think? Should I do that? Also, if you were going to trade in in about 4 months, I'll have had my car for a year, and I usually trade them in a year. And I'm thinking about giving it to Caden. And if he wants to sell his Camaro, we'll sell his Camaro. I'll give him my car. I'll use the Camaro money for down payment on my new one. But I'm torn. I'm thinking about a Ford Ranger Raptor. Hard to get, but I could get one eventually. Or I'm like, I could get me like an XL Ford F-150. Just get like the basic XL or maybe an STX, and then put the supercharger on it. Because for like $9,000, you can have the supercharger put on it. That FP 700 package or whatever it is. So I thought about doing that maybe, or get a Mustang, because I've never had one of the new model Mustangs, and I still do like Mustangs. But then again, there's also a 2-door Bronco. So I'm torn. I got months to decide, but still, if I'm going to have to order something, probably need to order something within the next month, because it takes forever for stuff to come in now, because they're keeping production at a minimum because they don't want to spend any manpower. they don't want to actually increase their income or their sales right now because they're still floating the potential for a buyout for a bailout from the government. They don't want to ruin that. All right. If anybody's got any topics they want us to cover in the No FUD Zone, go ahead and send them over to the link up there. The Phil Tithe P&V Super Chat link. Once we get a couple of questions, we'll try to get started here. So, let me get everybody in here. Boom, boom, boom. Can everybody hear me?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Can hear you.
I wonder how you set it to where when it does that, when someone talks, their face gets bigger. Do that on here.
I have headphones in. Can everyone hear me?
Yes.
You got a lot of background noise. You might want to mute.
Oh, okay. All right. All right. Is it still background noise?
Oh, no, it quit.
Okay, it was my fan. I turned it off.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you're just going to have to swelter. I would get the BYD Shark 6 truck, $450. I'm not buying no Chinese truck. Not getting me to buy no Chinese truck. You should flog yourself for even suggesting that. We will get started if we get anybody sending questions over here. We don't have a single question yet for the what do you call it? The No FUD Zone right now. Hopefully someone will put some in.
I guess you didn't see my email earlier, Yankee?
I saw your email. I didn't read it. It's long. I figured you'd be in here. You could tell us.
Well, it's about the possibility of changes coming for creators.
Okay.
So it kind of deals with the topic from before.
Well, tell us what to talk about. Because I ain't reading it. It's long, and I can't hardly see.
The one of the old creators from YouTube, Matt Pat. I don't know if anybody's ever heard of him. Matthew Patrick is his name. He ran a few different channels, starting with a channel called Game Theory. But he retired from YouTube last year and transferred all of his channels to other people. And apparently, he has now, as of June 5th, started the Creators Economic Caucus in Congress. He's got 2 representatives, one from Texas and one from New York. And it says that there's a total of 10, but I couldn't find a list of names of those representatives. But apparently their goal is to bring the law and Congress's view up to date for the treatment of content creators.
Well, good luck on them getting more money than Bezos and Musk and what's his name owns Facebook.
The reporting that I saw on it, they brought in number one, Matt Pat did a lot of nerdy science on his channels.
Mm-hmm.
So he is one to go do a bunch of research. But supposedly the economic impact of creators in the United States is around $90 billion a year.
Yeah, but who's it funneled through?
Who's it funneled through?
Yeah, because who's providing that platform for the platform creator?
They are.
Right. So their money is going to be the one that matters, not what we earn.
Well, you're a creator, Yankee.
Yeah, I know. And
you're in that $90 billion.
Yes, I know. And that's why I know we don't have any power.
Yeah, I mean, unless you can get the Jake Pauls and that level of
this guy is that level.
Even that wouldn't matter. You got to remember the biggest YouTubers compared to Bezos and Musk and what's his name from Facebook. Why can't I remember his name? What's his name?
Zuckerberg.
Compared to them, it's like this compared to the ocean. People don't realize how much money the top 10 people in the United States have. It's the Jake Pauls. They wouldn't even spit on Jake Paul or any of these people. So yeah, even if you got all those big old time creators, it would not matter. They wouldn't equal one Zuckerberg or one Bezos or one Musk.
There is some truth to that, but the European Union has been cracking down on a lot of these things too.
Well, yeah,
And
but they're a different style of economy than us. They're not a free reign capitalist economy.
Right.
Right.
But
the
a
other
lot
f-
of those policies
Well,
that
save
they
this for
created,
when we
they end up filtering in.
save this for once we start the chat. We'll start the chat here in a minute. And we'll start with that.
Well, you're the one who asked them to start.
I said, what was he talking about in the email? I didn't want him to go on forever.
Dale Mountain, I need more information on those state-funded sex toys.
What? State-funded sex toys. Let's see. Did Jay Lego
Something about Oregon? Yeah.
What is your brand in guns, or which gun brand? Okay, what's our favorite type of gun, brand of gun? So we can ask that during the chat too. But feel free to go over and leave a question or a comment over at the link at the top of the page up here. Feel free to put stuff in the chat if you put one of our names in front of it so we can see it. I probably won't get the emails today. I just don't when we're doing this type of chat. So feel free to go buy merch and all that stuff to help the channel, because right now it's going to suffer. But yeah, let's get started here. I made $4 on YouTube yesterday after they stole my super chats. Hold on. All right, let's get started. Hey everybody, Yankee here. Welcome to another episode of the No Fud Zone. Who just did that? Who was it?
Wasn't me.
Who just decided to snort into
I
their
was
microphone?
muted.
I'm sorry. That might have been me.
What are you doing? You got a cold or something?
I thought I yawned, but you said it was more of a snort.
No,
Sorry.
it sounded like a snort. All right, let's try this again. Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of the No Fud Zone with your host, me, the Yankee Marshal. As always, I'm joined with some of our regular chatters from our daily chat. Today we're joined by Welper, Gummy Wuzzle, Johnny Mandrick, and also we're being joined by Scorch today. So we got a little bit of a group here. So hopefully we'll be able to cover some topics. Now we're going to start off with something simple and easy before we move on to something hard. Jay Lugo wants to know, what's your favorite brand of gun? What brand company are you a diehard fan of? And just talk, you know.
Right now, my favorite gun maker is one that I don't actually own yet. I've taken a real shine to Taurus lately. Want to get me a TH10 and a 692 tracker? They just got a bunch of guns that I want them all.
They do put out a lot of nifty stuff. Who's next?
And for me, it's if I'm actually going to buy it, it's CZ. If it's just to see what's going on, it's Keltec. Keltec is always entertaining.
Yeah, especially if you love not knowing when your gun's going to blow up in your face.
It's a feature.
Is it this round or will it be the next round? Will it be the next round? Who else?
Me, I like SIG. I don't believe any of the hype about the Pig 320.
Yeah, I don't either. Yeah, that's all crap. And people don't realize the same thing happened with Glocks back in the day. There just wasn't as much internet to amplify it, and there wasn't any profit in spreading bad information about guns back then.
Well, and Glock immediately caved. So
yeah, they did immediately cave. They said, we'll buy back every gun and replace them, because they could and still make a profit. Here in Oregon is where they had the big problem with when they were saying, oh, their 40s blow up every time you shoot them. You know, remember the unsupported chamber debacle and what do you call it? What is it? Scandal. That's what the word I was looking for. I couldn't think of it. Who didn't go yet? Welper, did you weigh in?
No, I'd probably go with Beretta.
Beretta's
I know
good.
that they've made a few lemons every now and then, but most of their stuff is solid.
Yeah, I'm kind of I think I'm going to have to stay Smith and Wesson because I am a big Smith and Wesson revolver person, but I also love Beretta, Sig, and Ruger. And if I ever had to just say, if someone came to me and said, "What's you can only buy from one company ever again," what would it be? It'd probably be Ruger. If I had to start over from scratch, didn't have any guns, I can only buy from one company, it'd be Ruger because I think they have a more diversified platform of things I like. You can get everything from ARs to bolt action rifles, hunting guns, semi-automatics, which I'm not crazy about some of their semi-automatics, but some of them are pretty good. And revolvers, they got double action, single action, they got single action. A lot of other manufacturers don't have as varied a platform as they do. So, but I'm going to say Smith & Wesson's still my favorite. Now, Welper had a topic he wanted to talk about here. So let's let him introduce the topic.
So our topic for the shooting the shit portion of the show was about trying to save YouTube gun creators. And this might be tangential to that because they're not specifically about gun tubers. But an old creator from YouTube, Matt Pat, with Game Theory, has since retired last year and is now starting a congressional push for review of how the internet functions and how laws might be changed or re-examined to make things a little bit more fair for creators.
And I don't even know what laws would need to be relooked at. The laws that they have now, they ignore completely because the law says that if you edit and you censor, well, then you're a publisher and you're liable for what's on your platform. If you don't want to be liable for what's on your platform, you're not allowed to censor. You're not allowed to edit. They do that, but then they still are not treated like a publisher because they get it both ways because they put a lot of money into politicians' pockets. And I would love to see some laws that say, YouTube can't say, "Oh, we take 30% of your super chats," and then actually take 50 because they put other charges on top of it. And there should be a limit. Like they should only be able to get 10 to 15% tops. We need some laws like that. But the laws we have right now about how you're treated on the internet as far as your right to use the platform, they are public platforms or a private industry, but they do receive public funding, tons of it. And they get special protections from the law for not being exclusive, for being available to everybody. And they don't live up to that, but they still keep the protections. That's the main thing I think they need to change. I would love to see limits, how much they could take, but I don't think we're going to see that happen.
I'd like to weigh in on that, on the issue of them seizing money that's supposed to go to your charities. What gives them the right to do that?
Nothing. It's illegal. It's actually a crime. But as you know, I actually went to two different attorney generals, both Oregon and Washington, went to their offices and said, "Hey, YouTube is doing this. Isn't this fraud?" And they said, "Yes, absolutely. But we can't do anything about it because they are too protected by the U.S. Congress because they own," and the one lady in Oregon told me flat out, they own too many politicians to actually bother going after them.
So you accidentally tapping. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say, so what I ended up doing last night was because of the way I go ahead and do the chats where the pay comes. I went to the credit card company and called it fraud and explained, this was supposed to go here. They are not sending it there. I want, cancel the transaction. And sure enough, I got the money back.
And they'll hopefully they don't punish my channel for it because YouTube they'll punish me anyway.
Yeah, I didn't think about that till after you had said, "Hey, hopefully they don't punish me," but it's the only thing that's gonna stop them from getting the money.
Yeah.
Right. And at that point, it also starts to provide evidence that they're doing it.
Well, I think it's not a secret. Yeah. It's even in their policy. They basically say in their policy, "Hey, if we decide we don't like a comment, we're going to redirect the money from where it was supposed to go. And they try to make it seem like, oh, we're not doing anything bad because we're going to give it to a charity." That's still theft and that's still fraud because they are still benefiting from that because that increases when they take money that was supposed to go somewhere else and give all of it to a charity, well, that's a bigger percentage that they count that as income, and then they count that as donation. So that means instead of donating 1% of their income to charity, if they've got this big block of money that they're always donating all of to charity, but doesn't really cost them anything, they count that as part of their income, and it raises their percentage of their money that they're giving to charity, and it lowers their tax bracket, saves them money. So they do benefit from it.
Because even and there's two sides to this. There's your side, the creator side, and your T's and C's in your contract. Mm-hmm. Then there's on our side, the viewer, the donator, what's in our what did we sign up for? Yeah. And they clearly state no refunds, no refunds. Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, you can say no refunds, but I have a way of getting that back.
Yeah, and they also, another way they make money off of that is when they seize the money to give to a charity. Well, they don't say they give it to the charity right away. Any money we get, they hold in an account, draw interest on for a month because we get paid like a month and 15 days in the rear. And also when they take it to seize it, well, they can hold that for 6 months to a year, as long as they get rid of it in the same fiscal year. So it can sit in an account and draw interest for time being too. And they don't give that money to charity, I guarantee you.
Yeah, I remember one time someone gave you a donation of over $1,000. Could you imagine if last night something like that had happened and they'd seized the $1,000?
Yeah, someone YouTube got 500 of it that time. So, that's why I tell people don't do big donations through YouTube. They take half of every dime that comes in through YouTube. Any donation people make to charity through YouTube, they take half of it right off the top. That's why I tell people $2, $5, that's okay because you're in a lower place where the fee itself is most of the money. So same thing over on PayPal. Like PayPal, they give me a bigger percentage. If you give me $10 on PayPal, I get like $9 of it to go towards the charity. If you give me $10 on YouTube, there's 50% chance I'll get $5 and 50% chance I'll get $0. And if you give me $2, they'll take $1 of it and 50 cents because there's another fee. So I'll get 50 cents of it. But if you give it to me on PayPal, even though normally they give me a bigger percentage, like if I get $10, since that's such a small amount, they still take $1.20 of it. So I get like 80 cents. So instead of getting 80 cents on PayPal, I get 50 cents on YouTube. So there's not that big difference there. But if it's $20, I'd get 18 of it on PayPal. I would only get 10 maybe on YouTube.
Well, the other thing and because I know you yell at me about it, but the other thing YouTube's done is it used to be, I think it was like 50 characters for a $2 chat and 100 for a $5. They have moved those down.
Yeah.
They figured out what people were doing, and now they're like, all right, well, if you want to say anything that's a complete sentence, we're going to make you do almost always make you do a $5 or more.
Yeah, they don't want you to have enough. They want to make it to where $2 isn't enough to say anything, which I hate because I would rather everybody just do a $2 through YouTube because, it does have its benefits. If I'm doing a video, people ask why I do it that way. If I hate giving money to YouTube, it's because one, it goes on a special list and it's highlighted so I can see it. And my vision ain't good. So picking things out from the chat is not easy for me. So this goes on its own special link where I don't have to search around for it. I can just see it and I can share it, which means I can click on it. It shows up at the bottom of the screen. Nothing shows up at the bottom of the screen on this one for some reason. I tried earlier. It doesn't seem to be working. So there are benefits for super chats on YouTube because like I said, when I'm doing something where I want interaction and I want other people to put their opinions in, I want to be seen, I can click on that comment that's on a special list that's easy for me to find so I don't miss as many people. And it shows up on the chat here. People can see their icon, their name, and what they said. So it's not just me talking, but it's financially, it's just a nightmare because like I said, they take 50% of everything and all of 50% of it. Let's see here. Do we have any questions coming in for the chat here? We don't got nothing coming in. Let's see if we got anything over here.
That sounded like a callback to the Dukes of Hazzard. 50% of 50% of that 50%.
Yeah. I used to love the Dukes of Hazzard. That was one of my favorite shows. What's happened to gunsmiths? Is it just not profitable to be one? Not talking about AR builders, real gunsmith with real skills. Well, guns are more disposable nowadays. It's like what happened to, all the watch repair people when everyone started wearing digital watches. It's kind of the same thing. Now, Glocks are disposable basically. And if something does break on them, it's usually something you can replace way cheaper than you could have repaired. It's kind of like if my monitor went out right now on my computer, it's way cheaper to go buy a new monitor than it is to have this one fixed. And that's kind of the way we are with guns now. People don't really have high-end fine guns anymore.
And there's just not the volume.
Yeah.
Most people, if their gun doesn't work, they'll just set it aside and they won't even do it anyway. They'll just leave it there. It'll be in a safe and no one touch it.
Or they'll send it back to the manufacturer. That's one of the main things people get things back at the manufacturer from. The manufacturer will tell you that main issue they get is user error and things that aren't really wrong with the guns, but people still expect them to replace or repair it 20 years later, even when it's nothing really wrong with the gun. We got a question coming in here from Tom in Maine. He says, "Hey, Yank, Groundbird here." Haven't seen him in a while. "I wanted you to check out 945 Industries for your over-the-shoulder fanny pack. They got different sizes and may fit your needs. Hail, Phil." I'll have to check that out. Let me write that down.
Wait, is he calling you a butthead? Over the shoulder fanny pack?
Oh, that's right. Why would a fanny pack be over the shoulder? But whatever. I'll look. 945 Industries. I still want one. I just can't be able to find one. They're all huge. I have a Maxpedition one from years ago that I had, but it's gigantic. It's like wearing a saddlebag. And all the ones I see are like this big. I'm like, that's just like a backpack put on your front. I want a small, compact, little, nice looking, maybe a higher end looking pack that I can keep like a J-frame in. That's all I want. That's all I want. I'm going to have to start learning how to sew. Do leather work just so I can make my own backpack.
Check running stores and running sites.
I have been. It's hard to find one though that I can put a holster in, but either they're the right size and they're either the right size or they're either way too big and I could actually do what I wanted to do with them, or they're the right size, but they got too many pockets and other little folding things and, zippers and stuff to make it to where there's not a really, even though it's big enough overall, there's not a single big enough single space to put a gun in. Because they wanted to put, like, here's a place for your credit cards and here's where this goes and here's where your phone goes and here's, and I'm like, I don't need all that. I just want a place to put my holster and maybe a credit card or a driver's license. But yeah, I will look into them. Oops, what is my channel just went freaky here. Let's see. Hold on. It's doing this. I think I'm back. Hold on.
No, you're there. They didn't shut you off.
Okay, I was worried for a second because I kind of disappeared here on my end. But let's see if we got any questions over here. Liability and licensing for gunsmiths now is massively expensive. A gunsmith that wants to thread a barrel needs to get a manufacturer's license in Washington. Well, that's horrible. Well, wouldn't you probably have one though if you were a gunsmith? Wouldn't you want to be able to be a manufacturer? I don't know if that's true, or if you'd want to or not.
If they're going to thread the barrel in Washington, then you would need to get it because the Washington's new assault.
Well, then we need to get rid of that.
Where they had to get rid of all the assault 1022 takedowns.
Yeah.
But yeah, the threaded barrel part makes it where you need the not just regular gunsmith, but you can make some other bits. I don't remember all the rules now.
Well, that ain't good. That's bad. But I'm not a gunsmith, so I didn't know that. The gunsmith that we used to have right here at the bottom of the hill, I've noticed they've vacated. They're not there anymore. I think he retired. I just don't think there's enough business nowadays. He'd been there forever, but the business got bought out, and then now it's closed. The business he's in a it's called the Mercantile. It's kind of like a store, convenience store kind of place. But there used to be a gun shop or a gunsmith in there, and he's not in there anymore. I didn't realize it till I went in there today and he was gone. Let's see here. Do we got anything coming in question-wise for the chat here? If you've got any questions, get them in. Someone said, hopefully Dale Rickety's Jamaican nurse will give us an update on his health. I haven't seen him. The day we did the moment of silence for him, I got a message from him saying I was a jerk, but I still ain't seen him.
Is he mad at you?
I don't know. I don't know where he's at.
Dale doesn't strike me as the if I'm mad at you, I'm going to be quiet kind of person.
No, he'd tell everybody off. Because, he's 107 years old. What's he got to lose? They do what they want. Dale Mountain says, what do you think of Oregon State Hospital giving taxpayer-funded sex toys to their patients? What is that about?
Exactly.
Did you find anything on that? I don't know. Let's see.
I saw an article about it. And apparently they said that they have the right to gratification.
What? Oregon State Hospital gives patients sex toys.
They have the right to gratification. What kind of incel mess is that?
Well, no. It is something's weird here because
it's a psychiatric hospital.
Oh, okay, that's different.
Yeah, it's a little different. It's a psychiatric hospital. So they probably do have a right to that if they're under care. So I don't know how I feel about that.
I just kind of wish it wasn't a public thing, like
this. Well, this is one of those things where does the public health and the mental health override anybody's objections to what the money's been spent for? If the benefit is good enough to make it worth it. Because, most people aren't going to do anything unless it's worth it. They're not going to go wade into this kind of thing. I'd have to see maybe some studies on it. And plus, I guarantee you it's very, very little money spent because the state hospitals don't have a lot of money, period.
And
it's a drop in the bucket, huh?
As a PSA, I may or may not know this from my early 20s. It is actually a misdemeanor to have sex in a hospital.
I did not know that. I've never worried about it, to be honest.
At worst they can get you for public at best, they'll ignore public indecency. I will say that 9 out of 10 nurses are pretty okay with it as long as you're relatively discreet. But
what if it's with one of the nurses?
Yeah. If you want to be in the golden ticket is to get a resident.
Oh, and by the way, this whole thing from the very beginning has cost taxpayers like $2,500.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's what people are worried about. That's what they're going to be divided over. That.
I just hope that they're washed on a regular basis.
While the state is raping the economy and raping the taxpayers and everybody else, they're using that to direct people's fear at something other than themselves.
I wonder if insurance covers that, though.
I don't know. I don't know if it would cover it or anything. What about if someone gets harmed by the sex toys?
In Oregon, I'm sure Medicaid would cover that.
Medicaid, maybe.
If it gets lodged in an orifice, yeah.
Yeah. Now, I think most people, though, getting back to the sex in hospitals, I think most people that are dating or have dated or are married to a nurse or doctor have had sex in a hospital.
Whoa.
I think I would be safe in saying that. If there's anybody here married to a nurse or a doctor or had dated a nurse or a doctor,
other than the host,
I wonder if they could back that up to me for me.
Other than the host,
I'm speaking from my own experiences.
Yeah.
So,
well, my sister's a nurse. My brother-in-law is a doctor.
Oh, you're saying you had sex with your sister?
But I don't think they ever did it in the hospital.
Oh.
I could not see my sister doing that.
I thought you were saying since your sister's a nurse, you've had sex in a hospital.
I'm not the one from West Virginia.
There you go. I had 2 sisters, but I didn't find either of them attractive. Let's see here. Where am I at? I didn't even have any good looking cousins. They were all kind of good looking, but none of them good looking enough.
Look, you got all the pretty in the family. That's just how it went.
I was born very pretty, and unfortunately that faded. I wish I'd have been born rich instead. If I could go back and do it over again, I would much rather be born rich than be born pretty. I was also smart, but several head injuries has taken that away from me too. I don't see any comments coming in. Let's see. Does anybody in here got any comments they wanted to talk about? Because nobody is talking in the live chat.
Yeah, they're chatting over there, just nothing for here.
Just talking to themselves.
I got a little worked up yesterday. I know that's surprising. There was a couple of the gun channels where people were just ripping into the parliamentarian.
Yeah.
And I just had, like, well, it's a tax. And I don't know the number of times I had to go, hey, here's a link to the actual, go Google the bird bill, amendment, right?
Yep.
Go see, here's the rules. That's all this poor woman is doing.
Yeah.
And I did a little bit of research on it. And the reason like the top people are protecting her is because she's been there a while. Everybody likes her.
Both sides like her. They say she's very bipartisan. She never lets politics influence her decision. So all that was just garbage made up by fear mongers and hate mongers and people from I got an article from someone from the Firearm Policy Convention who wrote it like, she's a partisan who needs to be, fired with no benefits or nothing from her job. She needs to have everything taken from her. And I'm like, you're so full of shit. You're just feeding the frenzy because you want to make it sound like, oh, the good Republicans are trying to get rid of the NFA and they're being blocked by this partisan Democrat. And that wasn't what was happening whatsoever.
Yeah, I had one. He was like, well, what about this and this? Can you explain that? I'll wait. I'm like, well, while you were waiting, you probably should have Googled a few things and maybe you looked at, done some basic research because
you don't know.
So, yeah, but the number of other things, it's funny because I love reading what she's taking out to see all of the idiotic junk that was in there.
Oh, yeah. And there's a lot of it. There's a lot of stuff in there that needs to go.
Yeah. And it's just like, well, this is what happens when you try to get around the rules. And yeah, I don't even want to talk about Tommy Tuberville because that guy needs to be put in asylum.
Oh, God, he's dumber than fuck. I've never seen anyone that dumb before that actually made it to Congress. And I'm serious. I'm telling you. I mean, there's some pretty dumb people. I think AOC is dumb as a rock. Maxine Waters, dumb as a rock. Marjorie Taylor Greene, dumb as a rock, but they're all Mensa people next to this guy. Don't ever make the mistake of watching one of his speeches or his town hall. He won't do town halls anymore because he's so fucking dumb. They've actually told him, you can't do town halls. You're too stupid. You give the media too much stuff to talk about.
Well, what's even worse with him is we all sit here and complain about how these politicians are, so powerful and don't care. He was the college football coach at a major university in the Southeast that won. That man was basically God on campus.
Mm-hmm.
So he has not had in 50 years anybody tell him no.
Someone said, what about Al Green? Isn't he the one that thought that one of the islands would tip over?
Island would tip back over.
Yeah.
I think that guy's name was...
I was thinking of
Hank
the singer Al Green.
Hank Johnson.
Well, who's Al Green then?
The comedian?
Al Green is the man who shook his cane at Trump and got kicked out of the room.
Oh, well, I don't think that doesn't make him stupid. And even I think if you ever listen to Tommy Tuberville, you'll find out that Hank guy or whatever his name was that thought what island was it? Guam?
Guam, yeah.
He thought it would tip over if we built a Marine base on one side because it would get too heavy and it would tip over.
Yeah, he thought the population would sink it if it reached too high a level.
Even he is smarter than Tommy Tuberville.
Wow.
That's horrible. Al Green keeps bringing impeachment charges. Well, that's not stupid. That's just political hackery, but doesn't make him look like they're completely an imbecile. Tommy Tuberville, I'm sorry, he is a complete and total imbecile. Everything he says is so demonstrably ignorant. It's not funny. I mean, he makes Maxine Waters look like the smart person in the room.
You know what's really scary is that he's probably more intelligent than most of his constituency because they voted for him. They're dumber than he is.
Well, they voted for him because football. That's it. Football. That's all it mattered. That's why they voted for him. And their choices were basically him and a pedophile.
Ew.
Remember the guy? What's his name? The judge, Judge Roy something. Or
and people who would set themselves on fire before voting for someone without an R next to their name.
So that was a foregone conclusion. He's the perfect example of why we need viable third parties, so that you don't end up with just that choice. A pedophile or an imbecile. Which one do we get? Roy Moore, that was his name, Judge Roy Moore, the guy who was well known around the state for cruising high schools when he was already a lawyer and out working for the state.
That's just lazy for a high status male to do that rather than go for an adult woman.
I know. Well, they want someone that they can feel like they have control over and power over. That kind of that level of pedophilia, which isn't like, true pedophilia because they're not prepubescent. It's just young. People confuse the two. True pedophilia, you are attracted to prepubescent people, which makes no sense to me whatsoever, because when they're prepubescent, they're all like little grubs. So I don't know what you're interested in, but and that is usually from emotional disability and people that are psychologically damaged, stunted, etc. Whereas the level of so-called pedophilia that Roy Moore is just I'm a big, powerful man, but I'm actually a little worm, but I like to feel like a big, powerful man. So I like a woman that won't challenge me, that will always do what I say, that I feel like I'm in complete charge, that I'm superior to. That's what a lot of that's about. When you're just like I'm 18 and stupid. It's kind of like that's what that's about. You want to be in control. You want to be the alpha in the relationship. And the only way you can do that is to choose someone who's at a severe disadvantage to you developmentally and socially and economically, etc. So you go with those young people.
Like Slovenian porn stars.
Yeah, like I can't understand. I see people all the time, a 50 or something year old person with like Jerry Seinfeld, 17-year-old, when he's like 40. I'm like, what could you possibly have in common with that person? What could you possibly want to talk to that person about?
And didn't he cheat on his wife with her?
Yeah. And here's the thing. I think they don't care. They don't care if they ever, because they don't have to interact with that person much. They're just there when they need them. They go out and live their life because they're wealthy and powerful and all this other stuff. But then they go whenever they want that person, they're there. But I just can't imagine why you would choose someone like that. Like, I don't even like talking to people under the age of 25 years old. I'm getting to where I'm pushing that to 30 because they annoy the shit out of me. I couldn't imagine being married to someone like that. It would drive me to drink, and I don't drink. Just to be around, I would be miserable. So I don't understand how people do that. They just want something to be seen with. It's just arm candy, especially for the rich people. It's just arm candy. But I don't understand that. I don't know how you can even talk to that person. It's like my kids trying to have a conversation with me. Half the time they'll come up to me and talk to me about something, and I'll be like, what did I tell you about these things like this that I have absolutely no interest in whatsoever? Like, don't come talk to me about video games, magic cards. I do not care. Other aspects of your life, fine. I'm here. You ever need me? I'm always here. I like interacting with my kids, etc. But I don't want them droning on about magic cards to me. And to me, that's what the marriage would be like to one of these young people. What's an 18-year-old girl going to talk to a 50-year-old man about all day? Her Instagram feed sounds disgusting to me. Let's see here. I think we got everything answered.
I thought of a topic. What does everyone think of the alligator Alcatraz in Florida?
What's alligator Alcatraz?
I think some contractors and private companies are making a lot of money.
I don't even know what that is, so I'm out of the loop.
New ice detention. Well, you can explain it.
Yeah, it's a new ice detention center that's being proposed in the Florida Everglades for people that are undocumented that are going to be deported. And the reason they want to build it is because they say they don't have enough detention centers for these folks, and ostensibly it's for the worst of the worst before they go to Seacoat, but not necessarily hardened criminals. So as John Mandrick was saying, it's about the
How do they know
contractors and
who's the
money.
worst of the worst? They don't even give them due process.
It's a good question.
So we just have to take somebody's word that they're the worst of the worst. It is the
Yeah, they
whole
might-
point so that they're in danger because there's crocodiles around.
Well, yeah, that if they were to escape, they'd be in some real trouble. The alligators, the pythons, the
that's not-
cottonmouth snakes.
That's not constitutional. That's putting someone in a life or death situation, a deadly situation without any actual due process. There's no way that's going to ever hold water.
Well,
Yeah,
I mean, the camp should be secure.
Yeah.
It's, I mean, you don't, if you escaping from prison, even if you're innocent, it's still a crime. But this all
but
goes
even in
back
prison,
to,
but even prisons outside the bar, once you jump the fence, they can't lay landmines or lay traps under the ground or lay barbed wire because you can't endanger somebody.
Yeah.
well,
No,
look at
this
the
goes
original
back-
Alcatraz. I
Yeah.
mean, it kind of endangered people.
But
Yeah,
that's
and it
what,
ain't cute.
but
Yeah.
that's what this is all about. Remember a year, 6 months ago, Trump wanted to reopen Alcatraz.
Yeah.
Because Alcatraz is famous, and I've heard of Alcatraz. So
It's something I know the name of. So I can
And
It's
say
on
what it is.
television.
yeah, there's a reason we shut it down.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is all just to placate.
It was a giant
orange
human
guy.
rights violation. The whole place.
Oh, the whole prison system back then was.
Yeah. Well, it still is now too. But the difference now is instead of just saying we're going to put the worst of the worst in a hole and treat them like garbage, which I don't have as much problem with that as I do, where they say, well, we're only going to take prisoners that aren't a big challenge and don't cost a lot of money to take care of, and we'll just put the dangerous people back out on the street. We just want the profitable ones, and we'll give them gyms and TVs and and all this stuff and internet, and we just want the profitable criminals, which doesn't leave enough room for the bad guys to even be locked up anymore because they're not profitable. That's my biggest problem now with prison systems. I have less of a problem with treating a monster like a monster. But the problem is when you're not giving them due process, who gets to determine who's a monster?
Yeah, so it's definitely a contentious issue, the alligator Alcatraz.
Yeah, I'm sure it is. One of them were those divisive issues to get us people arguing about alligators instead of arguing about why are the politicians giving more tax breaks to billionaires who already don't pay hardly anything? Why are companies still getting paid to ship jobs overseas? Why is our manufacturing front still mostly overseas because it's profitable for them? And this is not stuff that the workers are doing or that the countries that they go to are doing. It's the things that the people who own the companies are doing. But instead we should be talking about whether there should be alligators around a prison. It's just, it never ever ends. And it's so hard not to get sucked into that stuff.
And the other part is you're trying to build this in a swamp.
Yeah, good luck with that.
Building, that's Swamp Castle for Monty Python.
Yep.
Yeah, and then the hurricane
Germany
would
got
cause
away
the
with it.
swamp water. Yeah.
Yeah, first hurricane. Yeah. That doesn't sound like a good idea all the way around. But that's going to be it for us today. Looks like we're out of time. We didn't get a lot of people asking questions, but we had some stuff to talk about. But hopefully we'll get back on the channel sometime. Hopefully, we'll see. But I want to thank everybody for coming, those who participated and those that were watching. Let me know in the comment section if you've got any topics you'd like to have us discuss, and come to the next chat. We do them on Saturdays, the No FUD Zone. Every other day, it's just me talking, so you'll just have me. But on Saturdays, you'll have somebody diluting it. So come on in and join us. Hope to see you then. Until then, remember, always carry and stay safe. Till I see you again. Everybody wave and say goodbye, or say goodbye since you can't see.
Bye.
Good night, Gracie.
Good night, everybody.
Bye.
Okay, you didn't need to turn your camera back on. We were okay with not being able to see.